Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Bothell Urban presentation. Tonight we are we're going to be presenting where we are on the Bothell Urban project. We have made a commitment to consistently do that. And so this will be our update for the congregation. Just a few housekeeping things. The panelists that will be speaking tonight have access to their microphones, but we've muted everyone else so that people's barking dogs and accidental things don't interrupt the program, the presentation. If you have questions throughout the presentation, feel free to put those in the chat, address them to Alan Jacobson, and we'll get to those at the end of the presentation. Also, just so you know, you have control over what your screen looks like in Zoom. So feel free to adjust the way you're viewing this by clicking on your view button, whether you want it just the speaker or however you want to do that. You'll be able to do that. I'm going to share my screen here. For the presentation. Hang on, one more thing. Okay, so I want to, we're going to be admitting people. Let's see, Alan, can you take care of the people that are being admitted under the participants? Go to participants and then
I can do that. Hopefully we won't have any more when I get to my part of it, but yeah, I can.
I'll watch it when you're speaking. That's great.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I just want to welcome everybody, and I would, as a group here together, I would like to first of all open us in prayer. Will you please join me in an attitude of prayer this evening? Creative and creating God, you have called us, Bothell United Methodist, into a vision of creating community. You have called us into being example for the community and caring about those who are unstably housed. As we work to bring this vision, may we continue to hear from you and know that we are walking the journey that you have asked of us. Be with us this evening as we share this passion and this exciting movement in the community with one another. It is in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
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 Okay, so I first of all just want to introduce part of the team that will be presenting tonight, and you'll learn more about the rest of the team later on in the presentation. I'm Pastor Kristen. I serve as the pastor of community engagement, and I facilitate this amazing team. Barb
Bailey, a longtime member of Bothell United Methodist.
Carrie
Westerbeck. I'm about a 3-year member of Bothell United Methodist and dove right in with this project a few years ago. And I'm a local architect, small developer, and on the city's planning commission.
Alan.
Good evening. Yeah, Alan Jacobson. I'm also in addition to being on the Bothell Urban team, I'm a liaison to the governing board, at least presently. And I've been a member of Bothell UMC for a little over 10 years now.
Great. So for tonight's, oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. So we'll have a few little technical things, but tonight's agenda really is that we're going to go through a presentation. This is part of the proposal we submitted to the City of Bothell, which you'll hear about later. This is these slides that you'll see have been vetted and approved by the whole team, and the whole team is also who you'll hear about later. So this will feel maybe a little formal for some, but I wanted to give you a little background about how we came to this presentation format. And then at the end, we'll have room for questions, and we hope to end this meeting by 7:45 so you can get back to your evening. So first of all, the vision. This vision began back in 2019 and has remained the same. This vision includes a community heart in the middle of downtown Bothell that will offer homes, services, and a gathering space that welcomes all. We continue to bring this to fruition now with dedicated partners, which we're really excited about. It will have an indoor community gathering area with human services offices. It will have food and beverage retail for job training and public meeting rooms. It will have affordable rental apartments for families, and it will have affordable townhomes that will be owned by families and a public outdoor plaza.
Barb Bailey here. Just to give you a timeline of what we've been doing and what's been going on with the project. In December of 2020, Bothell UMC presented a letter of interest for Plan Number 1 to the city of Bothell. And that property was located directly in front of City Hall. It's called the Civic Center. In April of 2021, the city presented a letter of interest for Plan Number 1 to the City Council. In June of 2021, at the suggestion of the city, BUMC met with Sound Transit regarding alternate location, the east portion of Lot P South. At this point, Sound Transit was planning on building a parking garage there, and the city wanted them to incorporate with that parking garage affordable housing. In January of 2022, BUMC presented Plan Number 2 with Habitat for Humanity for the east portion to the city staff. The east portion of this lot was approximately 22,000 square feet. All of the lot would encompass a number of 72,000 square feet. On May 3rd, Plan 2 was presented to the council. On May 20th, 2022, Bothell Urban Team received an RFP, or a request for proposal from the city. We worked with Habitat, Bridge, and our team, and answered all the city questions. So in August of 2022, we submitted to the city our response to the RFP. We're now waiting at this juncture to even get on the city council agenda. And the city staff, I believe, Kristen, does that. So we're hoping for September, possibly October.
Good evening, everyone. Carrie Westerbeck here. I'm going to introduce you to the site a little bit. It's right in downtown Bothell, just south of Pop Keeney Field on the south side of the Pop Apartments. And some of you might have seen it. It was where the bus barn was for North Shore School District for many decades. So this is called Lot P South. It's 1.67 acres at the southwest corner of Northeast 185th and 98th Avenue, again in downtown Bothell. Its location at the core of the redeveloping neighborhood makes it a crucial parcel for solidifying an active, inclusive, beating heart for the community. Our vision for affordable homes, community spaces can be one of the links that completes the city's vision for a vibrant town center. It's important for me to note personally, I live a block from the site and I can see out my window, and I welcome this project. I'm excited about it. I can't wait for all the new families and all the new people and the vibrancy they're going to bring. The Plaza, I'm so excited about that. We've needed that. And people around me are excited to see it. So there's a lot of excitement and attitude of welcome for this project in downtown. So we're really happy to see it, and I can't wait for it to get started.
Carrie, this is
All right.
you.
Yep, sorry. Getting my notes pulled up properly, a little glitch. So we're going to look at some views here, some three-dimensional views. These are concepts that the architects worked on for us. This view is from the north. Think about being above McMenamins and looking toward the library. And the Pop apartments across the street from the townhomes, so which you can see off to the right, bottom right of the slide. The library is located at the back of the building in the distance at the top. Stack 571, the restaurant some of you know, is kind of to the middle left of the slide, just out of the picture. And you can see how our front plaza fronts the Horse Creek improvements that are already there, that have been there a few years, where the creek flows. And so we're going to widen that and kind of enhance that and make it the plaza that everyone can use, a true community amenity. Okay, this is another view. This is the public plaza we just spoke about, inspired by the places, some of you might know the hangar in Kenmore, public space. And we are hoping that we're going to get to incorporate a splash pad for kids, the hot days, seating, of course, and places for people to meet and talk and make community. All right, final view here. This is a view of the townhomes from the west end of what's called Thorsk Avenue. That's the street out in front of the Pop apartments. And there are already some townhouses there, some of you might be familiar with. They'd kind of be off to the right side of this picture. So we're looking down towards the east on Thorsk Avenue or Thorsk Street, excuse me. And these townhomes, we think, will integrate nicely with the townhomes already there and kind of continue that same pattern of homes before we get to the taller buildings, which will be adjacent to other tall buildings. So far, we have a nice pattern of working with the neighborhood form of buildings here to integrate it with what's there already.
So this is an aerial view of the ground floor, and it shows the whole layout of all of the parcel called P South. You can see the 10 Habitat townhomes on the north side up here, and then the base of the Bridge housing offices here on the northeast. And then this is the Bothell United Methodist Church space on the southeast. And this is a conceptual rendering using our basic minimum requirements. And as we move forward in this process through approvals, this will evolve to perfection into the actual design. So our space down here in this area includes the cafe seating, a cafe kitchen, open seating for public, work carols, offices, and meeting rooms. And the public plaza has the potential for the splash pad with the family-friendly design and outdoor seating. This is an aerial view of a concept for the second floor, which shows the apartment layouts. And you'll see on the second floor at the south end, there's a private outdoor space, and there's also meeting space. And these spaces would be for just the residents.
Thanks, Kristen. Alan Jacobson here. So before talking about our team and our partners, I just wanted to let those of you who may have joined a little bit late, that if you have any questions, please use the chat feature, and you can send a chat note to me, Alan Jacobson, and we'll get them covered at the end of the presentation. Excuse me. So Bothell UMC continues to be the driving force of the vision for this project. But I'm reminded that when we started this project, someone told us that we'd be more than pleasantly surprised to see who else God would bring to the table for this project. And so we are really excited that we have new partners now working with us to implement our vision of affordable housing, community gathering spaces, and access to human service providers. As a partner, Habitat for Humanity brings affordable home ownership to the table. As an organization, they are well known and well respected. They also align well with our vision of bringing affordable home ownership to those who need it most. Bridge Housing is also a well-respected national organization specializing in developing and managing affordable rental properties. Each of these organizations address different facets of our affordable housing, and we are excited now for the opportunity to do so. Lastly, we see the City of Bothell as a partner in this project, as we continue to work with the city to bring affordable housing, community space, and direct contact with human service providers to fruition by the city's use of public property for these needed items. Let me talk a little bit about our team. We've expanded now. We've got 8 really dedicated people on the team now, and you can see them all listed here. They have a diverse set of talents and diverse set of experiences. I think what really brings this team to hopefully to success is the passion that everybody has around this project. And then more recently, we hired Tori Laughlin Taylor as an advisor to our team, and she's been instrumental in guiding some of the steps and strategies for working both with our partners and the city of Bothell. She is well connected in the area of developing affordable housing and working with nonprofits. And we're especially grateful for Pastor Kristen's vision and leadership for this project. And then again, we'll these names here, if you can always feel free to contact any one of us for any questions or inputs you might have on the project. And we'll give you some more contact information towards the end of the presentation. So I want to talk a little bit more about our 2 affordable housing partners. The first is Bridge. I don't know, some people may not have heard of Bridge before, but they are well respected for developing affordable rental units. And they work nationally, but especially they have a large presence on the West Coast, and they also have a very strong presence in the Pacific Northwest. You can see some of the areas that they're developing in the Seattle area. And you can see from this chart that they have tremendous experience both in developing and managing affordable rental properties, which is important for us. We don't want somebody to just come in, build something, and then feel like they can leave. So we're really excited about Bridge. And then Habitat, I think most people may have heard of Habitat for Humanity. What's really great is that we have 2 of the Bothell Urban team members at Bothell who sit on boards of one of the King County Habitat, that's Jim O'Farrell, and Carrie sits on the Snohomish Habitat for Humanity board. So we have very good connections with Habitat. And one of the things I think that's important is that their mission is to serve first-time homebuyers earning less than 80% of the area median income, or AMI. But their target for this project is to accommodate those that have 60% or less AMI. And the last thing I'd say for now about Habitat is their goals really align well with our vision of being anti-racist, as they also have a goal of facilitating home ownership and wealth creation for a diverse population, addressing populations of color who have historically been underserved in home ownership.
So one of the big questions that we get is, how are we going to afford this? So I want to do just a real quick recap of how affordable housing projects are different than market rate housing projects. Because in market rate projects, a developer can get a loan and build apartments, and they make the money back by charging rents that pay them back for all their costs. And they also give everyone along the development path a profit. And so this works for people who make enough money that they can pay rents that are high enough to put profit back into the equation. So people with low incomes don't make enough money to get into that market. Public institutions fund housing developments so that everyone has an opportunity for housing. Another thing about housing is that we know that in places of high employment and highly paid employees, it makes the housing market even higher. And so highly paid employees contribute to inflating the housing market beyond the reach of a lot of people. So because they'll pay top dollar for desirable locations like Bothell is. So companies like Amazon and Microsoft contribute to affordable housing funding in the area of loans because they know that in theory, the housing for baristas and retail workers are good for their companies. Bridge will be pursuing public funds from the federal government, King County, and Arch, which is a regional coalition for housing, because they have a housing trust fund for developments in this area. And so the rent that is charged to their residents won't fully cover the costs, this is why they need to pursue the public funds. And Habitat will do the same. The buyers will be able to own their homes, but Habitat will maintain the ownership of the land via a land trust. And then Bothell United Methodist Church has funds from when we sold the property west of our parking lot. And in addition, Bothell UMC will own the land and will charge Bridge and Habitat for a ground lease on the property. And then these funds go directly back into the development of the community gathering space and offer us some reserves until the project is self-sustaining. This proposal to the city of Bothell invites them, the city of Bothell, who currently owns P South, to invest this property into the project. This is in return for all that this project is offering to the city and the community, so that the city's contribution will be the land. And that is because this work that we're doing will meet their goals. So this is a broad summary of the steps that will happen to make this project a reality. First of all, the city will transfer the lot for ownership to Bothell United Methodist Church. And then Bothell United Methodist Church will subdivide the parcel into the Habitat and Bridge parcels. And then Bridge will ground lease, and this is the blue outline. Bridge will ground lease the parcel from us and develop the 144 affordable rental apartments with the community gathering space on the ground floor and the community plaza. Sorry, I might have skipped part two. Part two is the yellow at the top. That's where Habitat will acquire that parcel from us and develop their 10 homes there. And then the fourth step is that we will acquire and operate the community gathering space on the ground floor of the rental building that Bridge will be building. And then step 5 is the community plaza, which will be jointly funded and managed by all the partners.
So again, Kristen's already said that Habitat is going to be developing 10 units, but right now the plan is for 10 3-bedroom, so they're family friendly townhouses. And again, the requirement is that they would sell these or offer for home ownership these houses to people who have no more than 80% of the area median income, but again, targeting an average of 60% or less. And also each unit will have its own parking spot. And parking is one of those things that we have found as a team becomes a tentpole item for a lot of affordable or any development, but particularly for affordable housing. Yeah, I think that's it, Kristen.
Okay, so the homes for rent, the rental units in the apartment will have 144 units, and they will be targeted to 50 to 60% of AMI, which is area median income. Nearly half, 44%, will be family-friendly units with 2 or 3 bedrooms. There is a big need for those in our community, so we're really happy that they were able to come up with a plan that would allow for this many, 44%, to be 2 or 3 bedroom units. They, in their plan, Bridge does affirmative marketing to large families and communities of color, and they have resident services on site and are culturally specific whenever possible, and they range from childcare and food pantries to financial education or counseling in order to serve their residents. Barbara.
Okay, so the indoor public gathering place will be available for community activities. We will lease office space at cost to human service providers. The commercial kitchen with cafe seating, and let me scoot you over. Cafe seating, and for food and beverage retailer. Capital costs financed by this project. The rental and for sale affordable housing projects will make land payments that will help fund the public gathering space in the plaza. Operation of the gathering space will be self-sustaining.
Yeah, and I just want to give some examples of what will be in that community space. So, for example, the community activities that could take place would include art shows, musicians, or any local affinity group, and users will likely include work from home patrons. The human service organizations that are in conversations with us and making contracts with human service organizations is way down the road in the timeline, but places like HopeLink or Muslim Community Resource Center or Center for Human Services or some mental health support. The tenants could also include the Bothell Community Court and the necessary community resources that the community court is needing. For the commercial kitchen, the tenant will include a retailer that has an emphasis on job training, particularly employees that are difficult to keep employment or have difficulty finding employment. And tenants could also include commissary users. There's a big need in this community for people who have home-based kitchen and catering companies, but they need a commercial kitchen, and they're looking to lease spaces from places like this. And so I just wanted to give you a little more information on what kind of tenants could be there. Harry.
Okay, yeah, so the plaza is really exciting. So the picture there is currently in Bothell, but to give you an idea what it might feel like. This plaza is really wonderful. It's going to be open to everyone, Bothell community and general public beyond. A place you can go anytime, year round. We want it to be a visual and geographic enhancement to the existing Horse Creek area that you saw in renderings earlier. So it'll enhance that and enlarge that area. Be one of the kind of public spaces we've been needing as a city to gather as a community. We expect we're going to see designed in family-friendly amenities, like I mentioned earlier, the splash pad. We hoped the splash pad can be turned into an ice skating rink, or at least a portion of it in the winter when it's cold, to activate the space at all seasons. Maybe on rainy days, it's for splashing around as well. We expect, we're hoping for water and electrical access for pop-up vendors, kind of like we've seen with the Makers Market and with the Bothell celebrations this summer, and food trucks. And it's neat. It's going to be financed and managed privately by the 3 partners in the project. So it's not going to require public subsidy in that respect. The people operating it will be paying for it as well. Operating costs will be self-sustaining and funded on a pro rata basis by the townhome owners, the rental building owners, and the community space tenants. So got a pretty good model for that figured out.
Barb.
In addition to the formal review process, we will hold smaller, more informal community meetings. During these meetings, potential residents and the larger Bothell community will be updated on our progress, and will have the opportunity to ask questions, raise concerns, and share ideas. During this crucial pre-development phase, we will ensure all stakeholders are acknowledged and have a voice. The process involving working group and community input, design, costing, and back to input is a proven approach that ensures community support and acceptance while balancing financial and physical constraints. At this point, Kristen, can we go back to slide 4?
Possibly. What's slide 4?
Okay, on slide 4 was the
Oh, the
timeline.
timeline?
Yeah. If you can't go back, that's fine. I mentioned sound transit and the building of a parking garage. And as we all have read in the paper and know, Sound Transit did a realignment of their budget and was no longer able to purchase that particular lot. They wanted us to do the affordable housing and were willing to sell us our portion for $1, but that didn't happen because they pulled out, which then led to a plan 2 with Habitat for Humanity. I just wanted to make that clear that Sound Transit was no longer a part of this.
Okay. So
Sorry.
now I'm going to go to 22, and Barb, this is still you.
Yep, it is.
Here we go. There you go.
Okay, so immediately upon execution of an exclusive negotiations agreement, Bridge will kick off a monthly working group with the city staff and initiate due diligence and community engagement activities. In parallel, Bridge and Habitat will apply for private, local, regional, state, and federal funding, 4% low-income housing tax credits, and other relevant funding sources. Once major funding sources are secured, we will accelerate the design process using Bridge's in-house specification and design standards and work with our contractor to create a detailed construction schedule and identify cost efficiencies in the design. Habitat anticipates breaking ground in late 2023 and welcoming residents in early 2025. Bridge anticipates breaking ground in late 2024 and welcoming our first residents in early 2026. And both Bridge and Habitat will be working closely with BUMC, more closely than we'd like probably, but we'll be in on all of this. But it's exciting to see some dates where we could see people move in.
And these are preliminary, these are estimates, these are not anything people can hold us to at this point. Also, I just wanted to clarify, some wording in there was a little confusing. Bridge and Habitat have their own design specifications and standards. And so Bridge would be the master developer in this concept, but Habitat has their own staff as well.
Okay, thanks. So what are the next steps for our congregation? Well, first, if you haven't already signed up for bothelumc.org, please do so, because that's where a lot of information about this and other things happening get conveyed. We'd also ask the congregation to convey your support of the project to the Bothell City Council members as we continue to work with the city. As said, we've put our response to the request for proposal, and now it's up to the city, both the staff and the city council members, to take that and give us a response. So again, showing your support for this project to the Bothell City Council members is really important. Feel free to attend city council meetings, sign up for the council news, and you can receive their agendas. I know there's at least a few people on the Bothell Urban team who go to almost every one, or at least attend parts of almost every meeting. And almost the whole team has participated in some of the city council city council meetings over time. I guess I'd also ask to keep our team and our partners in your prayers as we go forward. And lastly, if you have any questions, you can either email Bothell Urban at bothelumc.org, or feel free to contact any one of the Bothell Urban team members, one of those 8 people who are listed in the earlier slide. And so, Kristen, I think you were going to ask, were there any questions in the chat window? And I just opened it up and I don't see any questions. So I'll leave it up to you how you want to proceed.
I would ask the participants if you have any questions to please put them in the chat and we can address them now. I could talk for a long time about affordable housing, so I won't keep talking, but give it a minute. And then what we will have this recording available for people to watch, so you can share it or watch it again if some of what you heard just came at you like a fire hose. We will send the link out in this coming Friday's e-news. We'll also be around at church. You can ask questions. Also, there is an FAQ sheet that we had prepared for our block parties. So that is hanging on the bulletin board outside of the main office. And there's take-home sheets if you want the FAQ sheet to take home also in the office. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, or if there is no questions, then that is all for this evening. And I really thank you for your support. You know, this started with overwhelming support at the First Charge conference that we had. Feels like years ago. So it's just wonderful to be moving along on this vision with the support of the congregation. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming.